Hello, this is Neil from iPaintGirls.com, and we're going to be doing coloring comic books, which is a little bit different techniques than I show for other things. This is all about speed. It's about capturing what you need and capturing a mood with color and doing it really quickly. Unfortunately, black and white isn't really going to save you much time. At least it won't save me much time because I use the same techniques pretty much because I want color differentiation like shadows and highlights and stuff. Otherwise it's kind of pointless, but maybe just inking black and whites could save a little bit of time, like the old school type look. But anyway, all right, let's get started then. So I have my background here, which I let Google SketchUp do most of the work for me. That is, I put the colors, the base colors that I kind of want in the background there, and then I had using the shadows for it, put some shadows, and I just kind of used the polygon lasso tool, and I created this more of an abstract shape on the wall back here, so that it just adds some variation. And you can add that really anywhere you want. You can add another one, another streak right here if you want to just add some variation in the background. Right, so once I have the base colors down, which you can either do in Photoshop or let SketchUp do for you. SketchUp, saves me a lot of time, so I usually let it do it for me. Now on top of that layer, I make another layer and I set it to soft light. Depends on what I'm working on, what I might set it to. I might set it to multiply and then set another one to soft light and work back and forth between those. So with this comic book, I've been using a really weird color palette inspired by Skydoll. A lot of like kind of these pinks and purples and oranges and stuff like that. So what I do is I start from one side, and actually I'm going to turn the opacity down on this brush. Okay, and let's see here. Hold on a second. I got to check something. It's not coming through, so sometimes, there it goes. When it doesn't come through, sometimes it's because I had selected something somewhere and I just can't see it. That is, a selection is still somewhere. So I kind of just push that color on one side, then I grab like orange because I'm using that for the light on this side. And it's just a matter of using complementary colors that you like together, and add a little bit of blue down here, kind of back in there, so it adds some of this kind of purple back over here, kind of darker color. I'm going to add some pink back up in here. Add a little bit of pink over into the, and add a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange. So just something like that, and I just, it's really quick, and I just want to have some sort of color to the background. And then I might add some pinks and stuff here and there. I'm going to then take black, and I'm going to use what I call my pen brush. Pen brush is everything. Only thing set to pen brush is the size is set to pen brush, or nothing else is set. I'm going to work on the regular. Well, actually, I'm going to merge those down really quick. Now at this point, I'm not worried about the background because I'm going to get rid of that really easy. So I just go outside the panel. It's no big deal. And at this stage, I might make a copy of this layer if I'm experimenting with things. But I know pretty much how this is going to work out, so I don't need to experiment. I'm going to go to my workhorse brush, just standard. Now I'm going to use multiply. And I'm going to undo that. I want to turn the opacity down, turn the size of my brush down. I just want the TV to look more black, so it's a little bit darker than that. Now I want to be careful that I don't lift off when I'm doing this, because if I lift off and then try to go back over another part, it'll overlay it, and I don't want that to happen. An easy way to get around that, it takes a little more time, is making a new layer and then just turning the layer down, turning the opacity on that layer down. But I'm just going to do this quick because, like I said, working with comic books, it's all about speed. It's all about getting the panels done as fast as possible because you have deadlines. Whether you're working for someone, whether you're doing online comic, you have deadlines because you have a dedication. Like you say, hey, I'm going to update once a week. Well, you better update once a week, right? Or do your darn best to update once a week. And which means it's all about speed. Want to work through it as quick as possible. Now I could have just done the TV black and not that black, but maybe actually, now that I think about it, I am just going to do the TV black and not anything else. Right, so then I'm going to go back to my brushes here. I'm going to use my soft. This is a big soft brush, set to color dodge. You can see up there, you can see the settings. It's just I use that, use your tool presets because it saves a lot of time. Well, I gotta make sure to choose white. And just want to add a little bit of shine to the wall back there. Right, now let's say I wanted an image on here, and this is a good technique for pretty much anything, like you want to do signs and stuff. You draw the sign as the basic shape is going to be a rectangle or square, whatever side, whatever the base shape of your sign is going to be, and then you draw it and everything, and I'll show you how to do it in just a second. I'll be right back. Right, so this is the image picture I painted for Gija Vagukos, my novel. These are just some of the characters that are in it. I was going to do this as a graphic novel, but I don't know, I might at some other time. Of course, the characters won't look like that in the graphic novel. Right, so once you have your sign done, you can either do it on a separate file, import it, whatever. Then I want to go to Edit and Free Transform. Click the link button up here. I'm going to choose like 20% just to get, somewhere around the size it's going to be. Might have to do a few different values until you find it. Then I'm going to zoom in here to make this easier to see. And also I need to make sure that I have everything turned off, snap and all that turned off. Put the corner in one corner, then go to Edit, Free Transform, Distort, and then just grab each corner and pull them to where you're going to want them in perspective. So make sure you have something there so you know where to pull the corners to, and voila. And then you can kind of see where the light's hitting it there. So using that same color dodge, I'm going to use a hard brush here. I can then go over this part and just kind of make that shine come out a bit more and everything there, like that. Right, I'm going to zoom out a bit here if I can see the whole thing again. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the background. I'm going to just call it done, and it's got cool mood to it and everything. And that's really all I go for when I do backgrounds. It's to save time. So then I start working on the people, and to do that I make a new layer, and then I right click on that layer, go to Layer Properties, and I'm going to just choose red. So right click on the layer and go to Layer Properties, and I just choose whatever color you want, just so you know that's what the layer represents. I know this represents my base colors for the people. Now I'm going to zoom in on the person that I'm going to be painting. I'm just going to demonstrate this with one person. You'll see the technique I use. It's much quicker than, because of this technique is just to save time. And so everything, like I said, everything with comic books is to save time. So I don't worry about. I got to go back to my normal brush again. And so I'm working with a pen brush. And when I say pen brush, I mean a brush. I'm not worried about going outside the lines because I work kind of like in layers, but in my head, what goes on top of what in my head rather than actual physical layers, because I know what's going to go on top of what as I paint over this. Right, so I do that. I'm going to turn the down to size 5 now. I know our hair is going to be red, and that's since the hair is on top. You know what just happened? Damn Photoshop! It got rid of my this brush here. Actually, what I mean by pen brush is it only has size set to pen pressure, and sometimes I don't know why Photoshop does this. It just turns it off. It turns off my pressure sensitivity. I have to restart Photoshop in order for it to work again. So I'll be right back. I have to do that. Right, so for you guys that was instantaneous. And so click this button down here on the tools, the bottom left hand side. And what it does is it changes so I can drag this around as far as I want to without having to worry about boundaries, and you can paint outside the boundaries, which is really cool. And that's under here somewhere, under viewing, screen mode. So right now I'm in this screen mode, but that button right there is the quick way to go through it, cycle through it. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in since we're almost out of time in this video here. And so now I have the pen brush, and it's still not working. Son of a, what the hell? It's not, that is so, if anyone knows a solution to this problem, like why Photoshop does this, please let me know, because it's really annoying, and usually it never happens twice in a row. Usually if I, now it's like I'm just getting all kinds of lag. This is crazy. Anyway, if anyone knows a solution to it, why Photoshop might, I have 3 gigabytes of RAM, and I got a lot of RAM, so I know RAM's not the problem, and I have 75% of that set for Photoshop. So I don't know why Photoshop does this, but it'll just turn off my pressure, and I have to like restart it. Usually that fixes it, but for some reason it didn't fix it this time, so I'll try it again. Alright, that time it worked. I got pen pressure back, So the only thing I have set to this brush to pen pressure, everything else is default hard brush. I only have size set, so it works like a pen, like a good marker pen or paintbrush. So what I do is I just go in and I fill in the base colors like this really quickly. And one way sometimes to save time is to just go and fill out the outside of it like you'd want, and then you use the paint bucket tool and fill that in, and then go and just fill that line in like that. It's just a quick way to fill in colors sometimes. Right, so that's the end of this video. Come back for part 2 and we'll finish up using the techniques for painting or coloring comic book pages. There you go. Damn tongue.